Solve the inequality below and write your solution set in interval notation. Which of the following is the solution set? Okay, this is another absolute value inequality. So I'm going to start by getting the absolute value alone. So I'm just going to subtract 8 from both sides, get this absolute value, 1 minus x over 2, all by itself. Then I'm going to solve the associated equation. So I'm going to solve the absolute value of 1 minus x over 2 equals 2. And when you solve an absolute value equation, the thing in absolute value could be 2 or it could be negative 2. So this breaks down into two separate equations. 1 minus x over 2 could be 2. 1 minus x over 2 could be negative 2. And I solve both of these. So let's see, I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides and I get negative x over 2 equals 1. Multiply both sides by negative 2 and I get x equals negative 2. Right, and then the other equation, I get negative x over 2 equals negative 3. Multiply both sides by negative 2, so I get x equals negative 6. So let's draw a number line and put these two numbers on it. Here's negative 6. Here's negative 2. Those are the solutions to the equation, the equals. If it was the absolute value of this stuff equals 2, it's greater than or equal to 2. So those are going to be solutions, negative 6 and negative 2. Now, when you're dealing with a greater than absolute value equation, greater than absolute value inequality, the solutions are going to be outside the solutions to the equation. Okay, so I'm going to include the negative 6 and the negative 2 and shade everything that is not between them, everything outside of them. So in interval notation, that would be negative infinity to negative 6, unioned with negative 2 to infinity. And that is option D. Let's do a quick check. Pick any number in these intervals over here or over here. Pick any number. We're going to plug it in for x and make sure this inequality is true. So like an easy one would be 0, right? 0 is over here. It's in the solution set. Let's plug in x equals 0. Okay, so I'm going to have 8 plus the absolute value of 1 minus 0 over 2. Is that greater than or equal to 10? So this is 8 plus the absolute value of 1. Is that greater than or equal to 10? So that's 9, which is not greater than or equal to 10. So I know I have made a mistake somewhere, okay? So this is a great thing to do to check your solutions because the answer that I found showed up in these answer choices. Um, so I am going to go back and look at my work and see if we can figure out where I messed up. So solving these two equations, here I subtracted 1 from both sides and I got 1. And I multiplied both sides by negative 2 and I got negative 2. Okay, I think that one's right. Here, when I subtract 1 from both sides, I get negative 3. And then if you multiply both sides by negative 2, you should get positive 6. So here, I multiplied both sides by negative 2. So I got x on the left. I should have gotten positive 6 on the right. Okay, so my number line doesn't look like this. And my number line has negative 2 on it and 6 on it. And I want to highlight everything outside of those numbers. Okay, and now it makes sense why 0 didn't work because 0 is not in the solution set. 0 is between negative 2 and 6. Okay, so um, when I rewrite this solution set, I get negative infinity to negative 2, union 6 to infinity. And that is option A. So normally I would have started this video over when I realized that I made the mistake here, when I realized that 9 was not bigger than 10 and I messed up. But I think it was instructive to show you how to go back and check your work. So I'm leaving the mistake so that you can see how checking your work can be valuable.